Detroit Den 313, welcome back. First and foremost, Merry Christmas to everyone. Hope you guys had a great holiday. I have missed talking Lions football, especially with this gift we just got the other day. Detroit Lions clinching the NFC North for the first time in 30 years, 1993. Leave a comment down below. Let me know how old you were in 1993, or if you weren't even thought of, if you're one of the younger ones, let me know how old or how many years later you were born. First home playoff game in Ford Field history, man. I have been ready to talk about this for a couple days. The Christmas stuff is kind of winding down in the Perkins family, so we got some time to talk some Lions football, man. I've been itching. I've been dying to get on here and talk to you guys about some Lions playoff. You know what's going to happen in the playoffs. I got some good stuff coming down the road. Don't miss it. Hit that subscribe button. Let's just take a little trip down memory lane real quick. For those of you who remember, 1993, last home playoff game for the Lions wasn't even the NFC North. The top song in 1993, according to the Billboard 100, was I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston. Absolute banger. Number one movie that year, 1993, Jurassic Park. Probably the first movie I remember as a young boy seeing in theaters. That's how, I'm just dating myself a little bit there. President of the United States, 1993, Bill Clinton. And Monica Lewinsky, technically. That's a joke for some of the older crowd that not a lot of people get. But also, this is not a joke. This is not a Sean McDermott thing. It's just a relevant point in history. 9/11 hadn't even happened yet. 8 years before. And I bring up 9/11 because that's probably the most historic thing that I've seen in my lifetime. I'm also an Army vet. That's a big reason why I went in. Not going to get into that, though. Let's talk about some football today. The offense, we're going to start with the offense, man. Jared Goff is – I'll get into Jared Goff in a little bit. I want to go – I'm just going to read you his stats real fast. 30 for 40, 257 yards, 1 touchdown. Now, if you have him in fantasy football, he probably didn't win you a championship, but he was a nice serviceable option if that's what you had to roll with, and that's exactly what we needed Jared Goff to be against the Minnesota Vikings. Serviceable. St. Brown, offensive player of the game, in my opinion. 12 catches, 106 yards, 1 touchdown. Mr. Reliable, did everything, kept the chains moving on a consistent basis. Anytime we needed a big play, we went to number 14, St. Brown. Like I said, the offense had several sustained long drives, taking the time off the clock. 38 minutes and 22 seconds time of possession, carried heavily by the offensive line again. Back-to-back games, that offensive line has looked absolutely dominant. When they're healthy, this offensive line could take this Detroit Lions team deep into the playoffs by just opening up the run game, being able to protect Goff, who has been surgical when he has time in the pocket to get through his progressions. Now, he had some turnover issues for a couple games, and we were all kind of panicking and wondering what to do with Jared Goff. But when he has time, he's not an elite athlete. He doesn't have elite speed. He doesn't have elite escapability from pass rushes. When he has time in the pocket to dissect and read everything that's going on in the defense, he's up there with the best in that aspect. But when you want to talk about physical traits, Jared Goff's just not that guy. But I love him. He's carried us. He's been, we got to pat him on the back. When Jared Goff came here, it was for his career to die. Like, let's just be honest. Stafford for Goff and 2 first-round picks. A lot of people were writing Goff off. That's a little bit of a tongue twister. Myself included, I didn't think he would be the quarterback into year 3. I thought we would try to make a trade, try to be a little bit aggressive in the draft, but Brad and Dan have stuck with him. He's been the guy. Now he's carried us to a box we can check for the Detroit Lions, and that's home playoff game. Jared Goff has been the glue that's holding that together for this team this year. Hats off to him. Phenomenal job, but we're going to see what his future holds, because I'm still not sure I'm giving him $50 million. If he wins a couple playoff games, we're going to have a different discussion. And that can change my mind, just so that we're out, so that we're in the clear for everyone who tries to out me later on, just in case. We'll see. Another player who probably could have been rookie or not rookie. Well, I just kind of gave you guys the answer right there. Player of the game, Jahmyr Gibbs, man, is looking more and more like an explosive. He's looking just more and more explosive each week. At 15 carries for 80 yards, 2 touchdowns, added on top of that 4 catches for another 40 yards. He's a weapon. That's what we drafted him as, to be a weapon, to be that guy who can run outside, inside, catch the ball. He's been doing it. He's getting better and better. And also, he carried the workload when David Montgomery was sidelined with, I think, a concussion type thing. He laid an absolute hit on Ivan Pace of the Minnesota Vikings, and both of them went out, and Demo didn't come back into the game for a little bit. I thought I saw on Twitter something that he was in concussion protocol, but he did end up coming back into that game. But back to Gibbs, man, he is truly going to be a problem in this league with his speed. I don't even think we've scratched the surface with his potential. I think we're really just seeing on the fringe of what he's really capable of doing. Now, I heard an interesting comment during the game yesterday about Jahmyr Gibbs, and it got me thinking. So for some of you guys who know me personally, you know that I have a little soft spot in my heart for the Tennessee Titans. First Super Bowl I ever watched. Got some family connections to the Titans. I always keep track of them. Unless they're playing the Detroit Lions, then they're my enemy. But home team first, but the Titans. And I bring this up because the comment I heard was, I think it was Jonathan Vilma, making a comparison to Titans former running back Chris Johnson, CJ2K, they used to call him, ran for 2,000 yards. And it got me thinking, can Jahmyr Gibbs eventually run for 2,000 yards? Now, when Chris Johnson did it, they didn't have that extra game. So, I see a lot of receivers like breaking records like Cooper Kupp and Tyreek Hill possibly this year getting 2,000s, and it's an extra game. So a little bit of an asterisk, but I ask you guys this. Leave this in the comment as well. Can Jahmyr Gibbs be a 2,000-yard running back? I personally don't think so, but I think maybe his season best, when we look back at his career, however many years that is from right now, I can see him somewhere in like the 1,600 range. I think he could live in that 13 to 1,600 range, but 2,000 yards as a running back it does not happen. It is very, very rare. So leave that in the comments. Let me know what you think about that comparison. Honorable mention on the offense before I get into some defensive stuff. Taylor Decker, man. This guy has been he's been through the true bottom of the barrel for the Detroit Lions, man. He's been the longest tenured Lion, 8 years, left tackle, drafted out of Ohio State. He's been on this Lions team, man. He's seen it all. He's seen the good, the bad, the ugly, the Matt Patricia, Bob Quinn days. Like he's been through all that, and he's suffered it out, man, and he stuck through it. Stuck with the team. So I saw him getting a little emotional yesterday. So hats off to Taylor Decker, man. Thank you for being a Detroit Lion. Thank you for being a very, very underrated left tackle in this league. And I'm glad to see that you're finally on a winning team. Let's make a little bit of noise in these playoffs. So honorable mention, offensive player of the game, Taylor Decker, with just showing some emotion, man. I really appreciated that. And he's been through it. Now we're going to kind of pivot a little bit, guys. We're going to talk about this defense. I'm not going to nitpick yet. I'm going to get to some stuff at the end. I saw a lot of good things on defense yesterday. Ife Melifonwu had another amazing game, back-to-back games with the sack. He's looking like a real ball hawk of a safety, defending in the pass game and sealing the game shut with the interception on Minnesota's final drive yesterday. Man, I think we might have found a weapon kind of similar to what we found with James Houston at the end of last year when he was kind of getting hot with the sacks, and maybe we just found that on another aspect of the secondary this year with Ife Melifonwu. Just an amazing game, man. If he keeps playing like that, I'm not going to tip my hand, but I got something for you guys at the end too. It's going to be scary for this Detroit Lions defense. Another solid player yesterday, Kirby Joseph, absolute monster yesterday. Was it his best game as a pro? 9 tackles, 2 interceptions, making impactful plays, as well as coming up and laying a absolute solid and clean hit on Justin Jefferson. Should not have been a penalty. Should not. It was a clean hit, and I get it. Justin Jefferson is the league's best wide receiver. It's not a question. I think, he kind of just gets the LeBron call, I guess. But that hit he laid on him, in my opinion, absolute clean hit. And I'm not knocking Justin Jefferson. I hate the guy in the most respectful way possible. I wish he would go to the AFC and the Detroit Lions wouldn't have to face him twice a year. But I think that was a Justin Jefferson type call. Just the refs knowing who he is. It was a violent hit, but it looked clean in my opinion. Let's get into some defensive troubles, and trust me, I got some stuff for the offense too. And I'm just kind of nitpicking a little bit, guys. At the end of the day, we're going to the fucking playoffs, and I don't care about a lot of things. You can't win a Super Bowl without getting to the playoffs, but we got to be a little critical on here, right? I saw some troubles on the defense, man. Uh, 6 passing plays given up of over 20 yards or more. And I got the box score right here. Justin Jefferson, longest play, 29 yards. KJ Osborne, 47 yards. TJ Hawkinson, 24 yards. Brandon Powell, 26. Josh Oliver, 33. Johnny Munt, 23 yards. Those are their longest plays in the passing game. We gave up some chunk yardage yesterday. I didn't like seeing that. Um, is this a problem in the coverage, or is it the defensive line just not getting home? Because early in the game, it seemed as if we were getting after Mullins often and making his life a living hell. At other times, he had plenty of time to throw. Not a very good passer. I don't know if that kid even knows what a spiral is. He had some time to throw it at some times, and the Minnesota Vikings were just getting big chunks of yardage. Was not a fan of seeing that. I mentioned it before. Sometimes the Detroit Lions just looks like we're struggling with zone coverage. That's kind of what I saw. So that's my critique for the defense. It can get fixed. Stick with me. I got a reason on how it's going to get fixed. Troubles on offense. My only nitpick for the offense, man, was some of the play callings at the end of the game. Mental mistakes, delay of games, untimely holding penalties or false starts when we're really trying to close this game out within the 5 minutes. We had, I think, one false start, a hold, and for sure one delay a game. Let me know if I could be wrong on those penalties, but it just seemed like within 5 minutes we really just kind of lost like our mental edge on offense there for just a little bit, and we kind of shot ourselves in the foot and just kept that door open on Minnesota where they could have come in and stole it. But that was the game that the Detroit Lions fought and they had to win. We've seen them in that position as Lions fans many, many times end up losing that game. At the end of the day, I'm not going to complain about a win, especially a win that takes us to a home playoff game. There's stuff to clean up, but at the end of the day, the Detroit Lions found a way to win. 2 final thoughts, guys, before I wrap this. I'm going to wrap this show up. SOL, same old Lions, dead. Don't want to hear it no more. It's dead. We don't say it on this show. Never have, never will. If you're a fan and you're still living in that SOL mindset, if yesterday didn't kill that off for you, then I'm sorry. You're just a lost soul for a Lions fan. Lastly, I've told you I got to wait for this defense getting better. Talked about some of that zone coverage issues. I'm just going to remind you guys, CJ Gardner-Johnson is coming back, and he's coming back soon at the right time during a playoff push. Guys, we're going to the playoffs. We're getting ready to, we're going to look at some seeding. We're there. It's a checkbox that we can mark off as a goal for the year. Let's go win a Super Bowl. It's a realistic possibility. Any given Sunday, you never know what's going to happen. Get in the playoffs, make some noise. Let's see what happens. Enjoy the rest of your Christmas, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with some more content.